You're listening to the Mermaid Podcast here on WPOD-FM, Mermaid Radio. I'm Gary Guppy, and we hope you enjoy today's program.
Welcome to the Mermaid Podcast, where we dive deep into the magical world of mermaiding and all things aquatic. I'm your host, Sierra Mermaid, and these are my co-hosts, Murashira, and the merman who's most likely to fall under the moon's spell, Merman Nathaniel.
Whether you're a seasoned performer, hobbyist, or curious adventure seeker, this is the place for you. We'll be highlighting our fantastic community and what we're all about, making magic and living out our best mermaid dreams.
Today is all about our favorite mermaids from Mako Island. It's the 20th anniversary of H2O, Just Add Water. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Blue Sky at the Mermaid Podcast, and join the pod on Discord to connect with our community, linked in the description. If you like what we do, please consider donating to our Ko-fi page to help us continue the podcast. Without further ado, let's dive in.
I'm personally super excited for this episode. This is legit one of my favorite shows of all time, and of course, I am talking about the hit Australian teen drama H2O, Just Add Water. It premiered on July 7th in 2006, and it ran until 2010, just making such a huge splash in the TV community, the mermaid community, just everywhere. Everyone that I've ever met that has seen H2O has loved it. And for people in the mermaiding community, this show has had a huge impact on us and our culture. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do some trivia and talk about the show, and it's going to be a great time.
Really excited.
No, this is such a great show, so this is going to be such a great episode.
I figure we can just start with how we got introduced to H2O. I think everyone has a different but similar answer to this, and it's something that we can all relate to, as a good chunk of us either grew up with this show or were kids when we were watching this show, and it really just formed our outlook on life and getting into mermaiding, etc. So, how did you all get introduced to H2O?
It was pretty simple. Around like 2006 is when my mermaid obsession really started. I don't know how or why it started, but H2O certainly fueled it. When I saw the announcement for it on Nickelodeon about a year later, I want to say, that's when I knew like this was the show I wanted to check out the most. And of course I would watch it in secret because I wasn't sure like how anybody else would think of me like watching a show like this. And you know what? I loved it. It stuck with me. The mythos has been such a huge inspiration for my own works, and I just cannot recommend it enough for anybody who has not seen it yet. It is fantastic.
I agree. I came across it really similarly. I was super into mermaids as a child, just as I am now, and Nickelodeon announced it. I think you're right, Nate. I think it was like a year later, and I remember just watching that show in the morning and then getting on the computer and looking at all of these different forms of media. But H2O was one of my favorites then, and it continues to be one of my favorites now. It's so rewatchable and is so enjoyable, both as a kid and as an adult. There's just so much there for everybody, and the mythos is such a big thing in pop culture, I think, still. I'll see TikToks that are like Mermaid Summer, Y2K Summer, and H2O is always at the forefront.
Yeah, I still
Absolutely.
remember the promo videos they had for H2O when it was coming out.
I am on the younger side, I think, of the three of us. And when it came out, I was still a toddler. So I don't really have any memory of it coming out or being promoted. But I do remember that as early as like second grade, probably, is when I first started seeing it when it got picked up on Teen Nick. And at that point, it had been out for a few years, and it wasn't one of those things that was, I think at that point, like, the show was totally over. So it wasn't one of those things where I was waiting to catch the newest episode. But they were playing it on Teen Nick, and I do have very vivid memories of me setting my analog alarm clock that was on my nightstand for like 4 or 5 a.m. because that's when the first episodes of the day of H2O would air on cable. And I would wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and turn on my TV and watch H2O as, like, 8, 9-year old. And I remember in third grade, I was very diligent about keeping a diary. This is definitely where my mermaid obsession took off, because I wrote in my diary about H2O all the time. And I just really
So
wanted,
cute.
I know, I really wanted a mermaid tail at that age, that young. And it was before kind of mermaid tales were more mainstream and popular. So I literally was stalking everything about the show, trying to figure out who made their tales. I found the special effects studios. I was like, when I have adult money, I'm gonna have them make me a tale. Not knowing that's not how that works, but I really wanted an H2O tail when I was like 8 or 9. And I drew pictures of it and all this other stuff. So H2O was really the beginning of a lifelong dream of mine to own a mermaid tail and become a mermaid. And it holds a really special place in my heart.
It should.
Yeah, and I love how you bring up Teen Nick because it unlocked a memory for me that I didn't even think about. My sister and I actually, when the reruns were premiering there, we used to set an alarm an hour early every morning before school so that we could catch almost 2 full episodes of H2O in the mornings. Drove our parents absolutely nuts because they were like, you guys are getting up early specifically to watch TV. And we were in high school at this point when those reruns were still airing. I think we were in high school, middle school, high school, somewhere around those lines. And it was something that we looked forward to still every morning, even though we had already seen the show when it was originally airing on Nickelodeon. And we used to do the same thing, draw the pictures and find the studio that created it. And it's such a shame that now that we have adult money, we know that they don't make personal tales.
That and silicone tails like that are so expensive.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
big
yeah.
time.
But I also think it's really endearing because it means like we all have these shared experiences that revolve around this one show, and how even after 20 years it still continues to, like you said, define pop culture and inspire people and inspire the community. I mean, there's Tyler Warwick, the creator that got like super famous off of
Yeah.
making H2O spoofs on TikTok and Instagram. I recently just saw that he released a cover of him singing the opening song.
My God.
I saw
He
that.
is such an icon. And
He
I can't
is.
blame him. I listened to that song all summer in the car. Me and the dog are driving with the windows down, and everybody is hearing that we're not ordinary girls. I don't care.
Special
I love
power.
that. He was actually the guy that inspired me to dress up as Lewis from the show for Toricon one year. That was like, what, 2 years ago, I think?
Yeah, sounds
I
right.
have a photo of it somewhere. If I can find it, I'll send it to you, Ash, and you can put it up on screen.
We'll show y'all.
Yeah, it was a shame though, because nobody recognized who I was. I was just dressed as some generic white guy to everybody else. Like, I had to
White
point out my
fisherman
costume to a
dude.
few
My
people.
guy with a fishing
Not even a
rod.
fisherman. I didn't even think to take
Aw.
any fishing gear with me.
Oh no.
So that was on me. That was
Oh,
on me.
no.
One
So
guy
what you're
didn't
saying
even
is you need a redo.
Yeah.
Yeah. One guy didn't even recognize me because I had changed costumes in between seeing him. It's funny, right? to bring my Xbox and my Rock Band stuff to the game room every year. And that same year, I decided to dress up as Lewis. I get all that stuff set up. Somebody's already there at the game console. I duck out for 15 minutes to go change. I come back. The same guy turns around to ask me a question, and then he goes, "Oh, no, wait, sorry, I thought you were someone else." It's just like, no, I'm the guy you're looking for. Trust me.
That's funny.
One thing I actually really like is not only do we and a lot of other people have fond experiences watching this show, but the cast themselves, a majority of the cast, also have like really fond memories like working on this show and how much it is like their careers and such. I've seen interviews with all the different cast members, like what they're doing now and such, and like what they think about the show. And like pretty much every single time they have nothing but positive things to say about it, which is so refreshing when like you consider like how teen actors and stuff wind up here in the United States. Like if you remember the Quiet on Set documentary that happened a couple years ago, or maybe it was like a year ago, I can't remember exactly, but
That was also Nickelodeon. There's a lot of stuff about Nickelodeon on the US side, but honestly, a lot of kid actors in other countries get treated at least a little bit better. And I
yeah,
think that Australia they set the curve. Even now for Bluey, there's so much stuff that has come out for that show specifically. And it's everything that I've seen about them is really great, specifically from the 2000s on, because those are what I tend to focus on when I'm looking at shows. Because otherwise, I don't really watch a lot of TV. But my dog watches Bluey, I watch H2O, and everybody has had a great time on those shows. So they're good in my
yeah,
book.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's not only were they like treated well, but they were also like given a lot of creative freedom as well. Like I remember the interview that Tyler Warwick did with Jamie Timoney, who I tried to get on this show, but unfortunately never got back to my DMs. No hard
No
feelings.
hard feelings, but feel free to reach out when you hear it.
We get big.
He ain't ever reaching out. But yeah, I remember hearing interviews about how like he wasn't even supposed to be on the show initially, but he had like such great chemistry with his friend, who I'm forgetting the name of, the actor that played Zane. Burgess, that's his name. He had such great chemistry with Burgess because they had been like childhood friends since like kindergarten or whatever the Australian equivalent is. And they just welcome him on the show. It's like, all right, yeah, no, you're his friend. Go nuts.
I remember I just recently read an older interview with Cleo Massey, who played Kim Sertori, which was
Yeah.
the show Cleo's younger sister, and it was about how she grew up on set, and she was saying just how comfortable she was and how nice everyone was and how just like fun it was. Even though she did end up playing kind of a hate sink character, but she's an awesome person, like really played the character well.
Oh yeah, their villains played villains so well. We even see that now with everybody still hates, oh shoot, Charlotte. Everybody still hates Charlotte, which at first, unpopular opinion, I did not hate Charlotte at first. She got nasty real quick after she became a mermaid, and that could very well have been like influence, and there's so many theories, but at first the girls were mean. Like,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
people will
say that. Yeah, a lot of people will say that Charlotte ruined season 2 or whatever just because they hated her so much. And I was like, but doesn't that make a great villain, especially when we're talking about teen dramas?
Yes, she played it so well, and even as an adult, knowing what happened when I watched the volleyball scene and they were all getting along, I was like, oh my god, she could have turned a new leaf, like.
Yeah, I never understood the logic of just, oh, I hate this character because they're such a good villain. Like, doesn't that make you like them, though?
I think
Like,
that when we have villains, your way of liking them is to dislike them. Because, obviously
exactly.
you want to dislike them. Kudos to
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
actor,
trying to
she's
say.
awesome.
She is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, we have the parasocial fans that will, and this goes for any, fandom, who take the actors and take out their hate for the characters on the actors, even though, like, guys, they're just doing their job.
It's so
And they're
Yeah.
doing
weird
it
to
really
me.
well.
Do you think that Charlotte's real? Like,
Do you think the actress actually acts like that in real life? Hopefully
no,
not.
she was
Probably
getting
not.
paid.
By that logic, then surely there's a Mako Island somewhere that we ought to pay a visit to.
No, for
Oh yeah,
real.
absolutely. Wasn't made up at all.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Totally not.
That is something that the show did really well. Switching gears a little bit, is just making everything feel so realistic. Like, they presented things in such a way where, for a long time, I really thought Mako Island was real. Maybe I didn't think it would
Yeah.
turn me into a mermaid, but when I found out that the island wasn't even a real island, I was like, oh my god, what kind of movie
Yeah.
magic is this? Like, it really just pulls you in and immerses you in the world. And especially, I know season 3 gets a lot of hate because, our fave Emma isn't in it anymore. But when Bella came in, I think really that did a great service to the lore of the show, showing
Yeah.
that you could become a mermaid at multiple different points in the world. It wasn't just that Mako Island was special. It's special, yes, but Bella was turned in this in Ireland or wherever she was, and
Yeah.
the flashback showing her doing that was really magical, and I think it opens up a lot of, like, it inspires a lot of people to make stories where their characters are becoming mermaids across the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It doesn't, and it also opens up so many more options for, like you said, not only people's characters, but for different settings as well. And it shows that the moon pools all do different things. It opens up literally so much creativity on at least 3 levels that it's just awesome.
Fantastic writing. So now I was thinking that we could go through each of the seasons and just talk about some key moments from each of them. Stuff we liked, stuff we didn't like, things they did well, things that they might have missed the mark on, and kind of talk about the show as a whole. So I guess starting with season 1, it's a classic. It's typically understood to be the fan favorite season. What are your all's thoughts?
I love it so much.
I-
It's such an easily rewatchable season, mostly because I like to rewatch the show in what's the word I'm looking for?
In the summer?
No, like another word for in order.
Oh, in chronological
Sequentially?
order?
Sure, let's go with that. We'll just cut that whole part out. I like to watch the show in sequence, so just like going to rewatching season 1 over and over again, I don't really mind it all that much because it is such a fun season. But you get to see these girls like discovering their powers for the first time and like all the fun, wacky shenanigans that come from that. And it gives me like all the sort of like mermaid scenarios that I would want from a show like this. Like the
Yes.
fact that somebody almost discovers their identity,
Multiple
their
times.
power multiple times, their powers wind up getting them in some hot water, in some cases very literally, and it's just great. We've got 2 of my favorite episodes actually are the one where Kim almost discovers the girls are mermaids all because of Cleo's diary,
Mhm.
and the other one where it's like the final episode of the season where the scientist Dr.
Denman. Dr. Denman.
Thank you. Dr. Denman comes back and she discovers that the girls are mermaids and, they want to try and experiment on them. It's like, those are like the kind of scenarios that I would have wanted from a show like that. And I think they delivered on those spectacularly.
Oh yeah, they put the stakes so high right off the bat with Dr. Denman, and I loved that in itself. And I know that people always give the girls so much flack because they told their boyfriends, but they didn't tell their parents. But low-key, I think that is such a teenage girl thing to do.
It's so
It totally
peak.
is.
Yeah, so I think that was like a realistic thing, and I think that they played up the girls fairly well, especially Emma having to give up her potential swim career and Cleo having to overcome her fear of water. Well, Ricky was the only one that was like even a little bit grateful for everything at first. I think that
Yeah.
they
It's a
showed
good
the
balance.
dynamics. Yeah, they showed the dynamics of teenage girls, I think, fairly well compared to a lot of shows that are just get super unrealistic with how teenagers act, from the dialogue to really anything, how they act around other people. And I think that's one of my favorite things is while the show is so unrealistic, they're Sprouting Tales, it's also realistic in the way that just girlhood, the girls behave, how their friendships are, not even with each other, but with Lewis even.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of it was just really, it was like a world you wanted to get lost in because it was so, and at the same time, it was like real with a touch of magic.
It was
And isn't
grounded.
that what, yes, it was grounded. And isn't that what we all want in our lives? Is to be grounded, but have a bit of whimsy when we need it, and just this air of, the world is our oyster,
Exactly. You don't have to, you can suspend your belief a little bit, but it didn't become, for lack of a better term, cringe. Even though I say to be
Yes.
cringe is to be free a majority of the time. Cringe in a bad way.
Yes. Cringe, derogatory.
Yes.
I look back on the first season and especially the first episodes so fondly. I mean, just the way that they unfold is just so ingrained in my memory and so magical, and just this feeling of becoming part of something bigger than yourself, this whole world that's opened up to you, while also dealing with the struggles of being a teenager and having school drama and having boy drama and having friend drama. And I mean, they were just into all the dramas.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, dude, they were mermaids. Like, what more can you ask for? But it also shows that with, great power comes great responsibility. And I think, honestly, if we're thinking about this in comparison to other shows, the main trio and just all of the characters were so much more mature about everything than I feel like a lot of teenagers today would be.
You know what? I very much agree.
They were
So,
very independent and just handling everything well, but I also think it speaks to, it's fiction and it's written, but also it speaks to a different time. And I think it speaks to a time where a lot of us have nostalgia for before everyone had smartphones and all this other stuff. And, it's like we can go back and watch the show and it still holds water because we can have this sense of nostalgia about it. Like, I remember those days.
Absolutely. Now, what are your guys' thoughts on season 2?
Like I mentioned before, I know a lot of people say Charlotte ruined season 2, but I think season 2, and especially introducing Charlotte, it was a good progression from the stakes of season 1 in that it added this inevitability that they're not the only special ones, and of course we had the backstory of the mermaids, them preceding them with the lockets and everything, and tying Charlotte into all of that was just incredible, and just showing what could happen if that kind of power ended up in the hands of someone who was more immature or couldn't handle that kind of power, and I don't think Charlotte could.
I agree. And honestly, season 2 is my favorite. I love Kate Alexa's version of the theme song the most. I love the stakes of this season. And I love how it truly made even our main three more dynamic. They weren't perfect throughout this entire season. And that's another thing that's added to the realistic side for me, was nobody's perfect, even our favorite protagonists. They made their mistakes that season, and I think that it was, like you said, really cool to see what happened if that ended up into somebody's hands who was not mature enough for it.
And of course, we can't have a show without a love triangle. I mean, come on. It wouldn't be a teen drama if we weren't fighting over the nerdy fisherman boy. I really liked the drama between Cleo and Lewis and Charlotte a lot. And I think it gave all the characters more dimension, like you said.
Yeah, and honestly, Lewis should be catching more flack too. He was such an instigator sometimes.
He didn't want to pick a side.
Yes. And he didn't even have to pick definitively a side. Brother just needed to set some boundaries.
I still think back to that one episode where he was like invited to, oh God, what was it? It was like it was some gathering where he was going to be showing off some scientific findings or whatever. It was something like that. I can't remember the exact reasoning for the episode. But he was allowed to bring like up to one, and Charlotte and Cleo both thought it was going to be them. And at no point did he ever stop to say, like, I want to go alone, or I'm going with this person or that person. And as much as I want to feel bad for him at the end for both girls just, like, storming out on it, I'm just thinking, like, this was all you, dude. You could have avoided this.
Right.
Yes. I think that a lot of the problems in season 2 could have been avoided if Lewis had just said something, at least, to any of them. Just to, like been honest a little bit.
Yeah, that's like a reoccurring theme with the show that I've noticed, is that, like, people really needed to like communicate with each other better. Like, communication seemed to be like a running theme throughout the show, throughout all 3 seasons. Maybe even to Mako Mermaids a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, that could also be fair enough, because once again, teenagers, they do not talk to each other. They just assume that you should know how they're feeling and why.
Yeah.
So I get it. Fair enough. But,
I think,
like, that one instance...
Yeah, like, I think the show, like, does, like, subtly teach kids that lesson, that you should be more open and you should communicate more. And I think watching these characters go through that struggle, like, does, at the very least, subliminally teach them that, or at least it should.
Yeah. Who did a really good turnaround that season? Zane.
Yeah.
Yes, oh my god, I'm so obsessed with Ricky and Zane. I am so obsessed with them. I was so disappointed, this is getting a little ahead of ourselves, in season 3 and how Zane acts in season 3, but I was so obsessed with their, like, enemies to lovers thing going on in season 2. They were, like, my fave, the whole show.
I know, and it was so wholesome. One of my favorite scenes in the show, it's so simple, so sweet, is when they went out for ice cream and they're still teasing each other, and he's, I'm gonna get you with the ice cream. And they're laughing, and I just think that it was such a good dynamic between just the seriousness. It was a good, oh my god, what is the word? It was a good opposition, I think, compared to the seriousness of the show, was how happy-go-lucky they could be.
To be fair, that character development did start in season 1. I honestly think I like his character arc in the first season a lot better, because you're, like, watching it in real time, like, how he's going from this bad boy with daddy issues to confronting said issues and actually, like, making a man of himself by standing up for what he believes in.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, you can see that really early on, even when Miriam ordered, I think it was a strawberry milkshake, and she was allergic to strawberries, and Ricky was the one who gave it to her, and she was like, maybe you have temporary amnesia then. And Zane stood up for her then.
Yes.
For real.
She was I'm surprised, like, Charlotte gets more hate than her, honestly. Because, like, Charlotte initially, like, started out as, and I know, like, you know, her powers got to her head and whatever, but Miriam was always a jerk.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair,
Miriam always was, like, swinging for no reason.
To be fair, I think part of that is because we always see Miriam in some way, shape, or form get her comeuppance, whereas we don't really see anything like that happen with Charlotte, or at least not nearly as often.
That is
Charlotte did get away with it for a while.
A long while.
So season 3.
Season 3.
One of the most debated. How are we feeling about it?
Very controversial.
Man.
I feel like I'm in the minority here, but season 3, I do have a particular love for season 3. And I know it's got its downs, like Emma wasn't there, and Lewis leaves about halfway through, and all this other stuff. But it takes the show in a unique direction, I think, and adds a lot of compelling characters. I loved Bella, I loved Will, and how they didn't really try to make him a replacement for Lewis. He kind of stood as his own character, in my opinion. But yeah, I liked the direction that it took the show in.
I'm gonna agree with you there. I have mixed feelings about season 3, but overall, I can't really say that I hate it, like, at all. I mean, Kim is more bratty in this one. Maybe people didn't really like a lot of the changes. It took some time for me to get used to. But, like, overall, like, I would say I was pretty happy with it, and I like how it perfectly bookended the series as a whole. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, I have not rewatched it in a very long time. I'm actually doing a whole rewatch right now, and I'm at the end of season 2. So I'm not super familiar yet. I didn't hate it. In principle, like, obviously, I was mad that Emma wasn't there. I was salty. No pun intended. But I didn't hate Bella as a character. I did Will. And I remember back in the day thinking, first, I didn't really know if I liked Will because of the way that he acted with Bella, being like, oh my god, but what else is there? You're a mermaid. Oh my god. Didn't want to get to know her. But I also low-key thought that he was going to try to swoop in for Ricky at some point because he was acting a little bit with favoritism towards Ricky sometimes, at least from what I remember. It never happened. He did stay with Bella, but I almost thought that the writers were setting that up when they made
There was literally an episode where Ricky kisses him, right? Wasn't it Ricky that saves him when he passes out and she goes down and gives him oxygen?
Yep.
There definitely was a little bit of that written into the show. I see what you're talking about.
His face when they were all there when they saw it was Sophie was his sister, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the look on all of their faces, his was like, I think, the most shocked after Ricky.
Uh-huh.
Sophie was Sophie was like an interesting case there, because, like, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of get the impression that Sophie was meant to be a love interest at first, and then they switched to her being Will's sister. Because there was just, like, some interactions on the show. I don't know if it's just me. I hope it's not just me, but there were some interactions between the two on the show that felt a little...
They were a little weird sometimes.
Freudian?
It's a good word for it.
Me of Life with Derek, I think that premiered on Disney, the Canadian show. It was a similar vibe to that sometimes. And that was, not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could just be me. I don't know.
I do appreciate Sophie's character, though. She drops the only, like, hard curse word in the entire show. I think she calls Ricky a bitch.
Oh,
and
shout out to Sophie.
Remember when she dropped that, I was like, holy shit, what? But
you can't say that.
You can't say that. What about the children? But I think that does highlight how I said that season 3 took it in a different direction. I think the direction was a little bit more of a mature direction, just in, the cursing maybe, and in the interactions and the romantic relationships. I feel like things were a little bit more intimate and not so kiddie anymore. But also season 3 is home of one of the most uncomfortable episodes for me personally. I remember feeling a little uncomfortable watching this episode, and that was season 3, episode 12, Crime and Punishment, where Ricky is literally kidnapped by counterfeiters on a boat, and they, like, tie her up and are, like, threatening her and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I am uncomfortable.
Yes, I remember that. Ricky, she was, like, getting the worst of the worst that season, because another moment that also made me honestly really uncomfy was when Zane threatened her basically in
God,
their
yeah.
office.
I remember that. Yeah,
He,
things got real in season 3.
Yeah, he cheated, and then if you leave me, I can't really say I'll keep your secret. That was awful.
Oh my god, I remember that. The way my heart dropped into my butt, dude. Oh my god.
I know, I'm an adult now. I'm literally 26 years old, and it still makes me uncomfortable. They did a really good job that season with adding to the discomfort, and they aged with their viewers, I think. And they succeeded, for sure.
I'm gonna say something that might actually be a hot take, but I actually didn't hate Zane's character regression in season 3.
I
'Cause,
did
like-
See that.
because I wanted it to work out like a little romance book, but I
Yeah.
know that it's more realistic that it did not.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I've seen this happen before. People like that, like, they're hard to change, like, realistically. Like,
Yes.
at some point, like, the old attitude is gonna come back, and that may be incredibly off-putting to the people that he grew close to in that time. And honestly, like, I kind of appreciate that they did that in the show, showing that, like, nobody can, like, truly ever 100% change or stay changed permanently. Because I feel like
Especially
that kind of
when
sets
a
up...
big theme of the show is transformation.
Yeah, that just kind of shows, that just... I feel like if they didn't do that, it would just kind of, like, set up, like, an unrealistic expectation for the people watching it.
I can agree
yeah.
with that. It was very upsetting, but at the same time, it was like, you know, I think we
You know,
all
it's upsetting,
saw it
but,
coming
like-
a
but
little
not
bit.
surprised.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
upsetting, but it's supposed to be upsetting. They got the intended feeling that we were supposed to show from that.
Let's talk really briefly and how they compound on each other, because that's kind of how I view the ends of each of the seasons. I mean, we have season 1, that was the one where they pretended to give up their powers to
They
get
really
Dr.
thought that
Denman
they
off
did.
their case.
Yeah, they actually thought that they did, but
Yeah.
they actually didn't.
Yeah,
And temporarily they did, but they didn't know that it was temporary.
Yes, and that was, like, so nail-biting, and I don't know, it, like, really showed how they progressed through the seasons to their merfolk identities, like, became a part of them.
That is so true, because
Yeah.
we didn't know that it was temporary either until the next season came out.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
But
actually, no. We didn't
turned
know.
at the end.
Yeah, they turned
Oh,
at the
did
end of
they?
the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, but I will say in season 2, it flips the ending of season 1 on its head, and they do the same thing, but with the knowledge that, like, won't permanently be stripped of their powers because they use that planetary alignment that temporarily takes away their powers, and they plot to take away Charlotte's powers by pushing her into the moon pool and then restoring their powers. So I think it is kind of how season 1 and season 2's endings are kind of like flip-flops of where they think they're giving up their powers, but then they're actually not,
Yeah.
and now they're going to use that knowledge to their advantage to get rid of their adversary, Charlotte.
Yeah, I can see where you're going for there. God, yeah. I don't know, like, the ending of the first season, that's sometimes, like, hard for me to watch. Because, like you said, like, being a mermaid just became such a huge part of their identity in, like, the time span that they've been mermaids. And I would just feel dreadful, like, giving something like that up, you know?
I'd feel horrible.
There
To
was...
think about it, they're still kids, and that's
Yeah.
and to have all of those adults,
Hounding them.
yeah, making them feel like they're going to be harmed.
Like they're
Like,
animals.
that is a scary thing.
It was scary. I do
it's a little-
remember, like, them... It's a little what?
It's a little too real for some kids, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know. And just having them where they hold them up in the moon pool and, like, tricked them and whatever. Like, that was just a horrible scene to watch. And, you know, I don't know.
There was,
that whole thing.
There was, like, a episode of Mako Mermaids. I don't think I remember seeing this, but there was an episode where Zach's girlfriend, she becomes a mermaid. There was, like, a whole arc where she becomes a mermaid, And it's like just when she was like starting to actually like enjoy it and it was starting to become a part of her identity, she had to like give that up. And what we were left with was a scene where she's just sadly like standing on the shore, just having the water just wash over her feet and nothing happens. And it's just like, oh my god.
I can't
That's like the
imagine.
worst case scenario right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the series finale, the end of season 3, which I think they did a really good job of compounding on the stakes. And this is the one where they have to stop from destroying the Earth by combining
Yeah.
their magic in the moon pool. And that was a season where like the water tentacle was attacking them. Like it was season 3 was crazy. I know a lot of people don't like season 3, but that was crazy and I loved it.
They went all out with like the fantasy elements in that season, didn't they?
Yes. And just having them stop world stakes but like keep it a secret and no one will ever know that it's them that saved the world. Like, what the heck?
And there was
I
the chance
know.
that they could
Imagine
like
being a
vanish.
teenager and not being able to tell everybody that you saved the world.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
the thing, there was a chance that it could vanish too, because there was like a myth that they had read like a few episodes prior where this mermaid, like she also managed to stop the meteor from hitting the Earth, and she just completely vanished afterwards. So
Yes.
they weren't into that, like knowing that there was a good chance like they could die and nobody in their life would have known it. Like, how sad is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It was just high stakes. I loved it. I loved it. But
It was
I like
quite
you said,
great.
it's a good bookend for the show.
It really was. Like I just really like the end of this this episode because we
And
get
Lewis
to
comes
see
back.
like, yeah, Lewis
Yes.
comes back.
Lewis comes back.
Uh,
Important.
Cleo is graduating from high school, and that's another thing I actually like in season 3 is that when we see Cleo in the first season, she's not really the brightest light bulb. She's not very smart, but going into later into that season, and then going into season 2 and then season 3, we see that she is like getting progressively smarter, and watching
More
her graduate
confident.
high school, yeah, more confident as well. Like seeing her graduate at the end of season 3, that was like the perfect way to sort of end that sort of character arc there. Seeing her like get her diploma and essentially earn her knowledge. Essentially, that's the way I see it. That's her like earning her knowledge,
Yes.
and then
It was just
everyone.
such a beautiful conclusion to the show. It honestly, I
Yeah,
cried like a baby. I cried like a baby in the episode where Lewis goes to America, and then I cried again at the end, like season finale.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was just beautiful. Everybody's like at the cafe for like the one last time. We got some threads tightened, wrapped up, and whatever. And then hearing Bella start singing her rendition of "No Ordinary Girl" while we see footage of the three of them swimming together one last time. It's just, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like the saying goes, you know, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And in that moment, I was doing both.
Yeah. I think you can do both at the same time. But yeah, that's H2O. I mean, such an iconic show. Beautiful writing, beautiful acting, beautiful set designs, beautiful costume designs. I mean, it's awesome. I cannot sing my praises loudly enough for the show.
I agree.
Very
All
much
right.
so.
All right, next up, we are going to be playing some trivia about H2O. So you'll see whether Merman Nathaniel or Sierra Mermaid are going to win.
What do we win?
Clout.
Bragging rights.
Welcome to H2O Just Add Water Trivia.
I'm ready to be beat.
All right. Question number 1. How many mermaid characters were in the entire series ever? This is how many were shown in the show. All 3 seasons. collectively? Yes, Nate got it first. It is 8. We had the 3 main mermaids, and then we had the 3 past mermaids in the first season. Then we had Charlotte and then Bella. All right, next question. What is Ricky's last name?
Chadwick.
Chadwick.
Sierra's got it. It is Chadwick.
That's my girl.
That's our
Dang.
dog. All right. Question number 3. In season 2, what is the love potion called, which is used on the girls?
Ambergris. Ambergris? Was it ambergris?
Yes, that is correct, Nate. It is ambergris. In the episode Irresistible, the substance ambergris is stated to attract mermaids, and Zane buys it. When it arrives, it stinks, and he leaves it on the table, and Nate thinks it smells good, puts some on, and then all of the girls get attached to Nate.
That's show Nate, just for the audience listening, just to clarify.
All right, question number 4. Bella became a mermaid when she was how many years old?
9.
Yes, that is correct, Sierra. She was 9 years old.
You would have gotten
We
that
see
one anyways.
We see a flashback of 9-year-old Bella turning into a mermaid in a cave. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, question number 5. Finding one. Who developed the banana beatbox drink at the Juice Net Cafe?
Oh, that's a really obscure one.
That is. I'll just guess and say Ricky, even though I really don't think so.
Who?
It was Emma, because she worked at the cafe, put the banana beatbox on the menu, and Ash eventually offers to put it back on the menu to entice her to return to work.
Remember now. Okay. Yeah, no, I remember.
Well, that's fairly obvious. I was thinking too early on.
Yes. All right, question number 6. How old was Cleo when she first met Lewis?
Ooh.
That's obscure.
Uh-huh.
I'll guess. I'll say 7.
10?
The answer is 5 years old. In Sink or Swim, Ricky comments to Cleo that Lewis would get angry, too, if he were treated like a specimen, and Cleo says, "I don't know, Ricky. I've known Lewis since I was 5. I've never seen him get angry." So sweet. Question number 7. Who finds Cleo's diary with the drawings of her, Ricky, and Emma as mermaids?
Kim. There we go.
Good
Sorry,
job.
my mic gave out.
Nate gets it. It was Kim, Cleo. Question number... Is this number 7? No, this is number 8. Question number 8. What does Ricky get a job collecting in the episode Dangerous Waters?
Tropical fish.
Nate's got it. It was rare tropical fish. She gets a job collecting these, and she later finds out that they are being illegally sold. She goes after her boss, finds his place of business, and gets kept in a room full of pipes and water, and she uses her boiling powers to frighten them all away with the help of Emma and Cleo. Question number 9. About how long after they touch water do the girls become mermaids? The closest answer gets the point.
10
Seconds.
Oh, you guys said that like at the exact same time. I'm gonna give you both a point. It is 10 seconds. They say it's 10 seconds. It's not absolutely true. Sometimes they extend it a little bit for plot circumstances.
For drama, yeah.
Of course,
For
yeah.
drama. Yes. Okay. In question number 10, I think. In which order do the girls find out about their tails in the first episode?
Then Cleo,
Emma,
then
and then
Ricky.
Nate's got it. It was Emma, then Cleo, then Ricky. Emma finds out when she goes for a swim. Cleo takes a bath and turns into a in an iconic scene.
That one was iconic. That one I remember being
Right.
last, but I always switch the swimming and the bathtub scene. Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky.
12.
Same.
Zane did, but Ricky was like supposed to be like a co-owner, right?
Actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind if you gave it to Sierra because her answer was more specific.
But we both get a point. Because that seems fair. Him for saying it first, and then because he said that I was more detailed. So we'll be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say 3.
Which was
I kinda
why the
hesitate.
girls were so mad about her being a mermaid.
I was hesitant to say 3 at first because I was trying to think, were there any other powers she had? But no, she just had the 3.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. People like me, adore me. Aren't I adorable?
Was it Nate? I don't think it was Nate.
Oh, wait, was it Kim? At first I was thinking it was Nate during that whole thing with the mermaids, but it might have been Kim as the youngest.
I think it was Cleo during the episode.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the episode where she became a siren, wasn't it?
Yes! I forgot about that episode. I just remember all of the stupid faces that the guys were making when she was performing in the cafe. Other than that, I don't remember a ton about that episode.
Jello. Alright.
Okay. That's okay.
Well, still holding on. You remember this one?
God. I know this, too.
It was like the something maiden, wasn't it?
It was, not Rory. It was the Gilmore Girl. Lorelai.
Ah.
I knew it was one of the Gilmore Girls. I couldn't remember the mom's name. That gets him on the mermaid boat.
Good game.
Bragging rights.
Our artist for the month for July in the server is Mooney. They do some incredible work of mermaids and furries and sea creatures and all sorts of stuff, and their socials are going to be linked in the description, so go check them out and join the server and check out some of our other artists in the art club. Now it's time for Community Corner. Of course, we have all of our goings-ons in the server. I know, Nate, you're involved with a lot of different stuff, if you want to take us off.
Yep, so we've got our usual stuff. Chico has his art streams on Monday. I have my game streams on Fridays. On Saturdays, we started doing Saturday morning cartoon streams. So if you guys really want to wake up like early in the morning and grab a bowl of cereal, you're free to join us. And of course, we've also got our movie nights coming up. As of recording this, the movies we are going to be watching are... Let me just pull them up really quick. So as of recording this, the movies we are going to be watching pretty soon are Pirates, Band of Misfits for the regular movie club. And for the Schlock of the Month Club, we've got... we've got Cool Cat Saves the Kids. And if you guys know the controversies surrounding that movie, you will know that this is going to be a very interesting film.
Huzzah. And on the podcast side, we are always looking for more artists, for more commercial writers. And yeah, so if you're interested, check out our socials and apply. We'd love to have you collaborate.
Thanks for joining us for this month's episode of the Mermaid Podcast. Tune in to our next episode where we switch gears to talk about mermaid shows in the animated realm.
Tune into our next episode where we switch gears to talk about mermaid shows in the animated realm.
As always, don't forget to get on your cell phones and follow us on TikTok, Blue Sky, and Facebook at The Mermaid Podcast, and join our wonderful Discord community. Happy...
We'd like to thank our coffee donors that have made this month's episode possible: Ariadne, Isla, and Elizabeth. If you enjoyed this month's episode and want to hear more from us, consider donating to our coffee, linked in the description. Every amount counts and helps pay for our recording software and maintenance fees. Without our coffee donors, we couldn't do what we do. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
This has been the Mermaid Podcast here on WPOD FM, Mermaid Radio. I'm Gary Guppy, and we hope to catch you all next time.